O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O O. That's a part of the show I like to call reading my Cheerios.
But at home, we argue, cat and dog, it ain't right. We get in the car on the way to the tent, slam the doors, windows up, Jeremy Vine blaring.
Character comedy. That's what I've always called it, I suppose. Though I think some people would disagree with the idea that it's a character. I've done a lot of toing and froing over the last few years as to whether to be honest on stage, whether to be personal, whether to bring my stuff up here with me, to be honest with you guys. I had a gig in Deptford one night where I really got into it. I laid myself bare, tried to turn what was going on with me into material. And it was one of the worst gigs I've ever had. I mean, like, silence. And I don't know whether I can deal with that. I don't know whether I can deal with being emotional, being honest up here, even through the silences. I don't know whether I can do that. That's why when I come up here, all my emotions, all my feelings, they're in the subtext. And in the smoking area after the gig.
Out again, slap, hate, bubbling in our stomachs, resentment steaming off us. We chalk up in absolute silence.
That's a part of the show I like to call reading my Cheerios. Yeah, no, I'm glad you laughed. I'm glad you laughed. I'm glad you liked it. It's a good bit, that. It is a good bit. When I first wrote that, I showed it to my dad. I was sat in the kitchen with him, and I did that. I did all the O's, and then I said, that's part of the show I like to call reading my Cheerios. And he was just sort of looking at me when I finished. He was just sort of looking at me. And I said, what's wrong, Dad? And he said, son, I think there's a problem with that routine. And I said, oh, what is it? And he said, well, the problem is, son, if you were to read a bowl of Cheerios like you suggest, you wouldn't read it O, because there are no H's. You would instead read it as a successive string of O's, as ooh. What the fuck does he know? He's not a professor of linguistics. He's not a stand-up comedian. To be fair to him, he was the works foreman at the Cheerios factory for a number of years. Before that, he was at the Shreddies factory, but he quit because he said the elderly women that worked there were unruly. Knitted by grannies, aren't they, sir? That's what that joke is. You're welcome. But no, I listened to my dad, though. I thought what he said, maybe it is ooh. I don't know. So I thought what I do tonight is I'm going to try out my dad's version of the joke, and we can see which one works better. Is that okay with you guys? Brilliant. Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk off stage. I'll come back on just at the start, and we'll do his version of the joke. Brilliant. Ooh. 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 Ooh.
I'm not allowed to say all the things I've just said for an hour for $60 million. I'm not allowed to say it. This is cancelled. It's all censored. You can't see this except on every TV in the fucking world.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm holier than thou or anything. We've all said things on stage that we're not proud of. I'm not saying I'm one of these Netflix comedians, No, I'm not that kind of comic. But when you come up here, when the lights are on you, when people are looking, you forget what you've written and you say things you wouldn't expect yourself to. Nothing crazy, I'm just saying, one time I had a gig in Hampstead and I did a 5-minute improvised rant about how angry I was that David Beckham had gone to the Qatar World Cup while a hen party heckled me from behind a picture of margaritas. We've all done stuff we're not proud of.
That's all the Netflix American stand-up specials, aren't there? American stand-ups saying they can't say things that they're then saying.
Ooh. 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 That's a part of the show I like to call reading my Cheerios. Yeah, see, I'm not sure about that, because I think it loses something. You know, with my version, with the O's, oh. There's a sort of existential dread. Is he okay? You're kind of worried for me. I've just walked on. Oh. It's brutal. Whereas with my dad's version, ooh, I just sort of sound like a man really enjoying a prostate exam. And I've got IBS. I rarely enjoy a prostate exam.
Obviously, who cares what she... It doesn't matter what she thinks. It's about accepting yourself at the end of the day. You focus on her because it's easier.
I started doing this to impress a girl. What I'm trying to work out is why I carried on, though. Because, I mean, this is stressful. It is as stressful as it looks. And also, by the way, it doesn't impress girls. Not that that matters, not that that's relevant, but fuck me, it really doesn't. I was at a bar the other day, talking to a girl, and she asked me what I did. And I said this, I said I do stand-up. And she just turned and walked away. Just without saying anything, just turned and walked away. And I mean, to be honest, I don't blame her. I don't blame her one bit. Because imagine dating, imagine the kind of person you have to be to do this. And imagine dating that. How was your night, honey? Stressful. What happened? Well, the MC was rude to me. No one laughed at the Cheerios bit. I'm never going to get on the road show. It's pathetic.
You get back in the sea. You finned cunt.
Just so you know, I have performed all the material in this set on the stage in comedy clubs to actual audiences. And normally, huge laughs. Huge laughs. I mean, that Cheerios bit normally gets a round of applause. And I mean, I don't think I'm out of line saying this, but you're giving me nothing. I mean, I've played to bad rooms, I've played to small crowds, but this? I mean, this is pretty dire. No. I hope wherever you are, that your laptop screen is getting all the laughs I deserve. I hope your laptop's camera watches you rise out of your chair every time I finish a joke. Yeah, I hope it's going that well at home for you.
I got herpes a little while ago. Who gives a shit?
Do you ever find yourself preparing for a conversation even hours before it's going to happen? You know, getting yourself ready for the social interaction, thinking of stories or questions, you know, things to ask, topics of conversation. Yeah, me too. And here I am, drink it in. Can you feel the contemplation? Can you feel the deliberation, the thought that's gone into every word of this script? Yeah, no, me neither.
I'm 32, okay? If you're 30, you better either be married or have herpes. Like, pick one. Commit to something. Commit to a person or a way of life. Like, who are you? 3 decades, nothing to show for it? Figure it the fuck out. Marriage or herpes? Pick. Pick. A lot of my friends got married. I got herpes. At least mine is gonna last forever.